So melon ballers remind me of melon ball liqueur, which remind me of melon ball Jell-O shots, which remind me of the first and only time I have ever gotten drunk with my mother. I was a really wild kid. I grew up in this area. I was the kind of kid that had a lot of problems with drinking and a little recreational other substance use. And so I was always sort of in this situation where I was in trouble, I was on restriction, my mother was finding me laying on the front porch rather than getting in the house at night, and so I was a hellion. I was basically a really difficult kid to raise. And so by the time I turned 18, I was getting ready to go off to college, and my mom asks me to meet her after work, and we're gonna go to a powwow. My mom is Lakota Sioux, we're from Rosebud, South Dakota, and so powwows are big deals because basically all the Indians have come to town and we're all gonna go out, and the other thing about Indians is we love to party. So I'm kind of excited, thinking this might be a little fun and there might be some cute Indian boys there, and so I meet her at the powwow, and we're there for a couple hours, and afterwards she has this friend Sam, and Sam is younger than my mom, but older than me, and too much older than me for me to be interested in. But he clearly takes a liking to me, and so he says, look, you know, we're all gonna go out afterwards, so why don't we stop off somewhere, and like, let me take you ladies out and we'll have a couple drinks. So we go to the 15-minute club, and for anyone who grew up here or is familiar with DC, the 15-minute club was an alternative, kind of borderline post-punk rock club. It's seedy, it's dirty, it's in an alley, and so now here I am, 18 years old, with my mother, and this strange man, Sam, who's like in his late 30s, and he's ordering us Jell-O shots, which turn out to be melon ball Jell-O shots. So we order 5, my mom and I each have 2, he has 1. My mom is starting to eat them now with a spoon. We order another 5 more, and she's like, these are pretty good. I have never seen my mom drink ever, okay? So we are now probably in our 3rd round of Jell-O shots, and by this time now I'm teaching my mom how to slam dance and dance like she's in a mosh pit to Susie and the Banshees in the 15-minute club. Sam gets a little touchy-feely with us, and so we decide that we're gonna leave Sam and we're gonna go to the bar where all the Indians have gone, and so it's a country western bar. So the next stop for my mom and I can't remember the name of this place, but it was a bar where they played only country music, and there was a lot of line dancing and two-stepping, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And my mom, at this point, we've reached the same age level with each other. She says, let's find a couple of dates and dance, and let's have them buy us some drinks. So at this point, we moved on from melon ball shooters, and we are now drinking fuzzy navels, and we've met a couple of tall, handsome Indian studs, and they're throwing us out around the dance floor. I have no idea what I'm doing, but they have cowboy hats on, and we're dancing our asses off sort of on this floor. And so at that point, then my mother says, okay, well, they get a little touchy-feely, and she's like, well, I don't like this, they're making me uncomfortable, so it's time to go. I know this other place. So the other place was called, so now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we end up at this place called River Club, I think, and it is underneath of the Key Bridge, the Whitehurst Freeway. And immediately when we walk in, at this point now, we've each had 10 melon ball shots. We have had at least 2 fuzzy navels each, and we are now walking into this place, and God knows what we looked at. We're smoking cigarettes. I've never seen my mom smoke. It's like I'm out with a girlfriend. We walk into River Club, and I immediately notice that it's mostly men, and not a single one doesn't have silver gray hair. So we're in a club with men that are probably in their 60s and 70s, and she says, this is great, let's find a couple of guys and we'll dance and we'll have a good time, we'll get them to buy us drinks, and then we'll go home. But it's 1 o'clock in the morning at this point, and now we're starting to drink kamikazes, and now it's really clear that not only am I drunk, but my mother is drunk, and Lord knows how we're gonna get home. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, when you're a woman and you're out in a club and you're drunk and there's not very many women there, chances are that somebody wants to take you home. And of course, that's basically what happened, is a couple men approached us and wanted us to go back for nightcaps with both of them. So we ended up back at home and went to bed. In the morning, we got up and my mom was vomiting. I found her vomiting in the toilet in the bathroom. I got up as an experienced drinker, dealt with my hangover, got my clothes on, got myself ready for work, put my mom back in bed, tucked her in, and had her call in sick. It is one of the best times I have ever had with this lady in my life, and it is the first time that we had ever switched roles.